Hello and welcome back to Wargaming with me, Gary. This is about my 5th attempt, and isn't this always the way? I think I mentioned this last week about as I become more confident in doing videos like this, I get worse at them. I become less competent at doing them. Oh well, such is life. Anyway, right. This is a follow-on from video number 26, which was about sharing my thoughts and questions. And it's a lot to do with the rule sets that I'm looking into, both hard copy, but also on PC, whether that be floppy or whatever. But before I go into that, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you these little beauties. 3 brushes that I picked up. I went into Henfield today, little Sussex village, and it was the shop that I ended up, we fell into almost. It's like a little bric-a-brac shop, and it does a bit of everything. It's one of those shops, bit of everything: padlocks, tools, kitchenware, paint section there, hair products. The list goes on, but it did lots and lots of things. But these brushes, came across these and I went, oh, hello. Now these ones are Neo Sea White Kalinsky Sable brushes. They're made in Germany. And if I just tell you, so this one was 50p. That's the smallest one they do. The next size up was 75p. And the largest one that I got was £1. And there was I would say there's about 8 different brushes there, so you could have chose from any of them. Unfortunately, they don't come with sizes, so you'll have to work it out just by eye whether it's going to be. Now that's fine for me, because when I pick up a brush, I don't tend to do it by the size. I tend to do it by the bristle sizes, so I don't do it on the size on the brush, is what I'm saying. I do it, excuse me, I do it purely on the bristle size. Will I get the effects that I want? So I got that, but I also got this Sea White of Brighton. And what is this? This is ready mixed paint, and it says highly pigmented ready mixed. This one says bright yellow on it, and I thought, and as you can see, £3.25 for this. I mean, this is a big pot. This is going to last me. This is going to see me out, I think, if it works out for me. And I think it is working out. What I do is, with a lot of my figures, what I tend to do is I prime all my figures white, because I find it's easier to paint on. I find I don't have to do quite so much work. Like, I know a lot of people like to do black. I like white, and that's fine. But black, I find I have to do too much work to get the colours I want. Whereas white brings the colours out very quickly and seems to work for me. But what I also do is, if I'm doing like a figure with a high amount or a lot of, let's say, blue or red or whatever, I tend to put a watered down coat on, so it's a base coat. And that's just to make it easier for when I start putting the real coats on. Now, I wanted to see what this was going to be like, whether this was like children's paint, which £3.25 at that amount, you would imagine that's what it's going to be. However, where are we? Right, I've got some Death Guard here, which I got from the Conquest magazine. And it's not quite dried yet. I've literally just done it so I could show you guys. But that's 2 watered down coats, and I think it's come out pretty good. Don't worry about the bright yellow or the Death Guard. That'll change. But I think that's a good little buy for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the internet later and have a look and see what other colours they've got. I'm hoping for purple, blue, red, orange, those types of colours. Green, of course. maybe a brown for horses, that type of thing, maybe white. So yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to find when I go on the internet, so that I can get a nice little collection of these, which will do all of my basing for the rest of my life, I would imagine. So the rest of my natural, as my dad used to say. So that's that. So that's about the paints that I found and the brushes in Henfield, West Sussex little village. As I said, now I'm repeating myself. What I did do is, when, along with quite a few other bits and pieces, like people losing the mojo, which I wasn't referring to myself. At the moment I'm on a bit of a high, so I'm really enjoying myself and can't wait to get out every night and do my hour's bit of painting. Tonight I'm doing a video, so that will take up a bit of time, but that's the way that works. But what I did ask was, there was something more to do with, people have asked me in the past what rule set I'm going to use when I do eventually, if I ever manage to collect a whole army or two armies, what rule set am I going to use? And I hadn't really given it a lot of thought, so of course I did give it a lot of thought. And lots of things came back, lots of people came back with their own personal favourites or things they thought might work for me, which was really good. And some people have really put some thought into it, so it was really helpful. One of the things I did realise, like I said, I hadn't really given a lot of thought about the rule sets. It's not something that really... It's not something that has grabbed me to, I know I've got Kings of War rule set, but it wasn't, I got that because it was on special offer and it looked really nice, and I get them. But I've not really used it, to be fair. And what it did help me realise is that really I'm more of a collector. I'm more of a painter and collector. Painter, brackets. But I'm a collector. I like to collect the figures, and whereas I've in the past, a long time ago, I sold quite a lot of figures, but that is not my bag anymore. What I want to do is just collect figures, and I really enjoy just going into my figure bag, like into my boxes of figures, and going through them and getting them out, laying them out on the table, pretending they're in some particular engagement. Yeah, so that's what I actually like. However, that doesn't mean that I'm against playing the games. I'm not. I'm really keen to give it a go and just see if I actually like that. Maybe if I do, I could join a club or whatever. But I digress a little bit, as I tend to. Coming back to the ideas that people came up with, there was quite a lot. There was two things I asked. First off, it was about rule set, people's preferences. It was specifically, I believe, for ancients and fantasy. So people came up with quite a lot of ideas. Someone did mention bolt action, but my understanding is that's Second World War, I believe, or futuristic war maybe. Yeah, not futuristic, but like if the Germans had won, the sort of thing. If the Germans won World War Two. That type of thing. So, but it's not my bag. Maybe if you could use bolt action for First World War, I might be interested. But yeah, anyway, that's not really where I'm after. But people came up with some really good ideas. The one which was the two which was at the very top were Lion and or Dragon Rampant. So that was, I think most people mention that. And that is definitely something I'm going to have to look into. I think it was Osprey someone mentioned. Then there was Pikeman's Lament, Rebels and Patriot, Hail Caesar. Of course, I know about Hail Caesar, and it was one of the rule sets that I had intended in getting before I got Kings of War. But these things seem to have a life of their own, don't they? Then I got Fistful of Lead, 5 Parsecs from Home, which I believe is a science fiction rule set, which is fine. I've got the Death Guard and I've got a few other bits and pieces, so I might be able to do that. Oathmark, which I've watched quite a few people playing that, and it looks brilliant. Sega, again, I've seen people playing it on YouTube, and that looks really good, so it might be something I'll look into. There was also a Fantasy Rules by Chipco. I've never heard of that, but I will have a look into it. And then there was Warlords of Erwihan. It's a fantasy rule set. I think it's from Warlords, and I'm going to look at that as well. So that was that, and I'm not going to go into that too much. I will when I start doing some research and looking at it and seeing what I can buy and purchase. I was thinking about going down to Kim's bookshop in Arundel again, because I seem to remember that she had a games section, and they might have, who knows, they might have some rule sets in there, so I might pop in there, and I will pop in there and have a look. But what really got me, or what really hooked me, was Battle Bunker suggested I look at Carnage and Glory, which I did. It's not really what I was looking for, but it led me in the right direction. The reason I say it's not really what I was looking for, it will be later on, because I've got American Civil War and English Civil War, and that seems to be what it's based on, it's aimed at the moment. But what it did do, it gave me the name that I needed when I was looking for these things. And what I found out is the generic name for these kind of rule sets, computer moderated wargame rules. And that kind of did it. Once I put that in, now there wasn't much out there, to be honest. There was a lot of people talking about why they don't like it or why they do like it. If it's a dying art or whether it's something which will come back. But what I did do, I found one, Computer Assisted Wargame Rules by Clinton Riley. I believe it's an Australian company, and it was really, really interesting. And I came across, it had a whole list, there was a whole list of wargames, computer assisted wargame rules. And what I was able to do is I was able to pick out two which kind of, I think, fit what the brief that I was after. So the first one is Age of Heroes, which is a biblical era 500 BC and earlier. So that is easily going. That's perfect for ancient Assyrians, Sumerians, Akkadians, all the things that I will be concentrating on, and even the Trojan War. Yeah, so that's one I'm going to get, and the other one was Skull Cleaver, which is a fantasy rule set, and what it says on there is you can literally adjust everything on there so that it fits what you want. So the different figures can, like, so bow and arrows, they could be changed to crossbows if you want, that type of thing. It talks about wizards being able to use magic weapons and all that type of things. So there was a lot in there. The only drawback is they're around about £25 a pop. I want to get two of them I'd like to get two of them, but maybe one of them. But I also want to get some more figures, and at the moment, although the job I'm at, I'm really enjoying. I really enjoy the work I do. It's not great. It doesn't pay a lot. My pension don't come out for another 2 years yet. I've got a part-time job which will start next year, but all of these things they're not going to give me enough money to support my hobby in that depth at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bang them on my Christmas list for my family. There's two main things I want to get from my family. First one is I want to get some frontline packs of British line infantry. with Shako, not the stovepipe. So not the Peloponnesian, no, Peninsular War, but the more to do with Waterloo. So I want to get 3 bags of them, which will give me 3 regiments or 3 battalions. So I want to get 3 battalion bags of them. Also 3 officers. So that'll be a nice little set. And that'll mean that I can actually really get stuck in to getting on with the first corps of Wellington's army. And the other thing will be these 2 lists, these 2 war games. So I'm gonna put them on my Christmas list and see what comes up. There'll be other bits and pieces that I'll put on there, but I might put on there just saying like, these are the priorities. So please do get these. So yeah, so that's where I'm at with my thoughts, and this is kind of like the follow-up from my thoughts. So yeah, so all in all, everything seems to be going well. I've got loads of figures to paint, which I'm getting onto. My next video will be, again, more to do, I think, with zombies and my Athenian army, my ancient Athenians. So I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And all the very best. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm really enjoying watching everybody's videos. It's really, really good. And the ideas which people are coming up with their question answers videos, their own thoughts, battle reports. I'm really enjoying everything. So keep it up, guys, and I'll see you all later. Take care. Bye bye.